There's a quiet moment that happens more often than you think, and most people completely miss it. You're standing up from a chair, not fast, not dramatically, just a simple movement you've done thousands of times in your life. But this time, your body hesitates. It's subtle, almost invisible. Your legs don't respond immediately. There's a slight delay, a moment where your muscles seem to search for strength that used to be there automatically. You might brush it off. Maybe you think you were just sitting too long, or maybe you tell yourself it's just a normal part of getting older. But inside your body, something very different is happening, because that tiny hesitation is often the first visible sign of a silent process that has already been unfolding for years. A process where your muscles are slowly shrinking, your nerve signals are becoming less efficient, and your balance system is quietly losing precision. And here's what makes this so important. This doesn't start when you feel weak. It starts long before that. In fact, by the time most people notice weakness in their legs, they've already lost a significant amount of muscle strength and coordination. And the body doesn't announce it loudly. It whispers. Through small changes, you take stairs a little slower, you feel slightly less stable when turning, you avoid certain movements without even realizing why. And here's the part almost nobody tells you. This silent weakening of the legs is one of the earliest predictors of something much bigger, loss of independence, because your legs are not just muscles, they are your foundation. They control your ability to walk, stand, balance, react, and protect yourself from falls. And once that foundation starts to weaken, everything above it becomes more vulnerable. But what's even more surprising is that many people are unknowingly accelerating this process every single day, without realizing it, without pain, without warning. And by the time it becomes obvious, reversing it becomes much harder. So the real question is not, are my legs weak? The real question is this process already happening inside my body right now? And more importantly, is there still time to rebuild that strength before it's too late? Because here's where things become very interesting. Your body has an incredible ability to rebuild strength even later in life, but only if you activate the right systems in the right way at the right time. And most people are not doing that, not because they don't care, but because nobody has explained what's actually happening inside their body in a way that makes sense. So let's walk through this together, because once you understand what's really going on, everything changes. As we move through life, especially after the age of 40, 50, and beyond, your body begins to shift in ways that are not immediately visible. Your muscle cells, especially in the legs, start to shrink in size. Your fast response muscle fibers, the ones responsible for catching your balance or reacting quickly, begin to decline faster than the rest. At the same time, your nervous system, the communication line between your brain and your muscles, becomes slightly slower and less efficient. Now, you may not feel this during simple activities, but your body feels it. Every step you take becomes just a little less stable. Every movement requires just a little more effort. And here's where the real problem begins. Most people respond to this by moving less. They avoid stairs. They sit more often. They choose comfort over challenge. And that feels logical. But inside the body, that choice sends a very powerful signal. A signal that says, these muscles are no longer needed. And the body responds exactly as it was designed to. It starts conserving energy. It reduces muscle mass. It weakens strength pathways. And slowly, quietly, your legs begin to lose their ability to support you the way they once did. Now, this is the part most people have never heard before. It's not just about muscles. It's also about blood flow. Your leg muscles act like pumps. Every time they contract, they help push blood back up toward your heart. When those muscles weaken, circulation slows. Oxygen delivery becomes less efficient. Nutrients take longer to reach your tissues, and waste products linger longer than they should. This creates a low-level environment of fatigue and inflammation inside the legs. You may not feel it immediately, but over time, it contributes to stiffness, heaviness, and reduced endurance. And then there's another layer to this: balance. Your balance system is not just in your ears or your brain. It's heavily dependent on your legs. Tiny sensors in your muscles and joints constantly send information to your brain about your position, your movement, and your stability. When muscles weaken, those signals become less precise. Your reaction time slows, and your risk of falling increases. And here's where many people unknowingly make a serious mistake. They wait. They wait until the weakness becomes obvious, until they feel unstable, until something forces them to act. But by that point, the process has already progressed further than they realize. Now here's the encouraging part, and I want you to really hear this. Your body does not lose the ability to rebuild strength with age. It simply requires a different kind of stimulus, a more intentional approach. And when you give your body that signal, it responds. Muscle cells can grow stronger, nerve pathways can become more efficient, balance systems can be retrained, circulation can improve, but it doesn't happen by accident. It happens through very specific movements that activate these systems, and that's where these simple exercises come in. Not as a workout, but as a signal to your body. A signal that says, these muscles matter. Keep them strong. The first movement is something most people underestimate completely: sitting down and standing back up. But not quickly, not passively, with control, because when you sit and stand slowly, you activate multiple muscle groups at once: your thighs, your hips, your core, your stabilizers. And more importantly, you train your body to generate strength in a functional, real-life movement. This is the exact motion your body uses every day. And when you perform it with intention, it becomes a powerful tool for rebuilding strength. At first, it may feel slightly challenging. That's a good sign. It means those muscles are being reactivated. Over time, you'll notice something interesting. The hesitation disappears. Your movements become smoother, more confident. And that small change is your body adapting. The second movement focuses on something many people ignore until it becomes a problem: your calves. These muscles play a critical role in both movement and circulation. A simple heel raise, lifting your heels off the ground and slowly lowering them back down, may seem small, but inside your body, it activates a powerful mechanism. It improves blood flow, it strengthens the lower leg, and it supports balance in ways that are often overlooked. Now here's where things become even more important: the control. Not just lifting, but lowering slowly, because the lowering phase is where much of the strengthening actually happens. It's where the muscle learns to stabilize, not just move. The third movement brings attention to something that directly affects independence: side-to-side stability. As you step slightly to the side and bring your foot back, you're not just moving your leg. You're training your body to control shifts in balance. This becomes incredibly important when walking on uneven surfaces or reacting to sudden movements. And his is where many falls actually begin, not from forward movement, but from side instability. Training this pathway gives your body the ability to correct itself before a fall happens. The fourth movement introduces gentle stepping, lifting one knee at a time in a slow, controlled manner. This improves coordination between your brain and your muscles. It enhances balance, and it activates the hip flexors, muscles that are essential for walking safely and efficiently. Many people don't realize that difficulty lifting the foot properly is one of the early contributors to tripping. Strengthening this movement changes that. And finally, the fifth movement brings everything together: a simple wall-supported squat. Standing with your back against a wall, sliding down slightly, and holding for a few seconds before returning up. This builds strength in the thighs, supports the knees, and reinforces stability through the entire lower body. But more importantly, it teaches your body endurance, the ability to hold strength, not just produce it. And that distinction matters, because real life movements are not always quick. Sometimes they require sustained support. Now, you don't need to do all of this perfectly. You don't need to push your body to exhaustion. In fact, the goal is the opposite: consistency over intensity. Because what your body responds to most is repetition. Small signals, repeated daily, create lasting change. And as you begin to incorporate these movements into your routine, something subtle begins to shift. You feel more stable, more confident, less hesitant. And these are not just physical changes. They affect how you move through your day, how you walk, how you stand, how you trust your body. And that trust is what protects your independence. So if you've noticed even the smallest change, a slight hesitation, a bit of instability, a feeling that your legs are not as strong as they used to be, don't ignore it, because your body is not failing you, it's communicating with you, quietly, giving you the opportunity to respond before the problem grows. And the truth is, you don't need extreme workouts. You don't need complicated routines. You just need to give your body the right signals at the right time. Because even now, your body is